You may not want to hear this, but nothing in your life changes if nothing you do changes. And if you're also someone who's aspiring to make changes and looks forward to having a better future, you think about the future wife, the future kids, the future house, the future financial freedom that you have, the future body that you have, the future community and friends that you'll be able to connect with and meet across the world. You have those visions, you have those dreams, but then you also have what you have right now. And yes, there's a level of gratitude and peace that you have for the present, but there's also this desire, this healthy desire for more. Simply put, there are things that you want, but you notice that your actions aren't taking you there. And that is why the quote, "nothing changes if nothing changes," hits so hard, because one, it's a reminder of all the things you know you should be doing, but you aren't doing, but it's also a healthy push towards the right direction of, hey, I notice I haven't been being as good as I could be or doing the things I know I need to do. Therefore, if I want change, I need to start changing myself. And I think a big part of that change and that's taking that step is moving with wisdom. And that brings me to a recent quote I heard last week, which was, "There's a future version of you relying on you to be more wise today." And that is such a powerful reframe. Like, imagine if you got to meet with your 85-year-old self. This is something that Alex Hormozi talks about. And he has this exercise that he does called the Solomon Project, where he will open a Google Doc and he will start typing and having this back and forth conversation, pretending to talk to his 85-year-old self. But to bring it all back, when you think about that future North Star version of yourself, what are some of the things that he would do? And if he was talking to you, how would he coach you? Like, how would he want you to behave and act on a day-to-day basis? And when I think about that, and I think about all the things and all the ways that person is that I am not, it can be very encouraging because it's like a reminder that you are capable and you are on the right track. You just have to keep going and taking the necessary steps and actions towards that North Star version. And that North Star version is wise. He's wise. And again, coming back to wisdom, there's another quote from someone I look up to. He likes to say, "Knowledge itself isn't power. Applied knowledge is power." So you can know the best workout plan in the world or the best nutrition plan in the world, but if you aren't actually following it and actually going to the gym, eating the right things, you're cooked. Like, you're not, it doesn't matter. And so to bring it back to wisdom, I personally like to think of wisdom as applied knowledge. It's knowing what you need to do and then acting on it and seeing the transformation in your life on a daily basis. And again, it's something I'm still learning. So I'm not I'm not a master at it or anything, but the more I act and the more I make the promises to myself and consistently do that over a week, over a month, over a year. I haven't done over a year, but the more I do it, the more I'm seeing the magic happens. Because because another quote comes up, and that quote is, "The magic you're looking for is in the work you're not doing," or something like that. And it's so good because sometimes we, or myself, we think, oh, we need to learn something new, or oh, what's the next YouTube video I need to know, or what's the next Bible verse I need to read to fix this problem. And it's like, no, you don't really need to learn anything else. You just need to do more. And oftentimes the magic we're looking for, the magic I'm looking for, is in the work I'm not doing. So when it comes to wisdom, that is so powerful, because the more action we take, the more wisdom we will be able to create. And so if there was a lesson that I believe my 85-year-old self would share with me, that would be one of them. And I think he's totally right. And so looking ahead, I would challenge you to think about your future 85-year-old self, or maybe even, it doesn't have to be that long. Okay, you can go 50 or 35-year-old self. Like, what are some things that they would probably be doing or stop doing, right? What's their mindset like? Who are the people they surround themselves with? What's the type of music that they're listening to and allowing to be played in their home around their kids, right? What type of shows are they engaging in? Like, what are they watching? What's their social media feed look like? Would they be spending 2 hours on random brain rot videos in the Explore page? I mean, maybe. Or would they be taking intentional time to learn from their social media? Or even worse, if you were to open their phone and look at their Explore page, would it be filled with a bunch of Instagram models and girls in bikinis? Or would it be filled with something that's beneficial and something that they wouldn't be ashamed to show their wife, their kids, their friends? What are the things that they're eating mentally and physically too? Like, if you were to go into their kitchen, you open their pantry, are you gonna see a bunch of chips, a bunch of snacks, a bunch of ice cream? Would you see a bunch of processed, unhealthy foods, or would you see a bunch of whole foods, a bunch of grass-fed steaks or berries? I don't know. I just find it to be a very helpful thought exercise and thinking about that North Star version of ourselves. And if he lives a certain way, and if we want to be that person who lives that way, I think it's reasonable for us to start now. And something I love to think about is like, if I'm going to do it eventually, if I'm going to live that way eventually, I may as well live like it now. And again, I think that is where true wisdom begins to take place and form over time. It isn't a magic snap, something that happens overnight, like, oh, now that I know this, I'll begin to start taking wisdom seriously and act perfectly. Like, no, it's not that. But it is a process and a lifelong journey that you decide and you go on over time. It's something that you get better at. You're not gonna have perfect days. You're gonna have trash days. You're gonna have days where you don't wake up on time, or you end up skipping the gym, or not being as great as you could be. Those days are gonna happen. But when you can get back up the next day or the next week and start getting back on track, the magic will begin to happen over time. And not only will you begin thinking the right things, but you'll begin doing the right things. And that is what I'm hoping for in my life, and hoping the best for you too. So if there are changes in your life that you hope happen, and you know that there are changes you can make, I challenge you to do that today. And then hopefully you will begin to see the magic from doing the work that you were avoiding. This was something I was avoiding too, and I didn't want to do it, but I promised that it would last video. So I'm doing it now, and I'm trying to create that magic as well. So yeah, and if there's anything that you know you're avoiding, I hope this inspires you to take more action towards it. And if you do, I'm confident that you will begin to find the magic you're looking for.